They said it was because of you. They said you were the one that said that they were not allowed to allow us entry unless we gave a 7 days heads up. Is that true?
Yeah. The law specifically states oversight and visitations, and we are working to facilitate those. And we're at that time.
Did you give the instruction that members must give a 7 days heads up or not?
We had a policy in place that allowed us to get.
Were you the one that ordered that policy?
I have a responsibility for ensuring everybody in that facility.
You have lost more lives in detention than anybody else. That is your record right now.
Jasmine Crockett just unloaded on Kristi Noem over ICE detention deaths, migrant facilities, and accusations that DHS is violating federal law. Congress over war spending, the Constitution, and the Epstein files. And the hearing instantly turned explosive.
I just have a couple of questions. Are you aware that the law that was written by this Congress makes it clear that members of Congress are entitled to enter any detention?
Representative Crockett, I apologize. I have to run to vote in another committee, Secretary, and Mr. Schmidt will chair, and you will get extra 15 seconds, but I apologize for that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much
Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
Are you aware that the law makes it clear that members of Congress are allowed to enter any detention facility at any point in time in which they choose to?
Yes, I'm aware of the visitation and oversight responsibility, and we work every day to try to accommodate members of Congress while taking into account the safety of those individuals that are being detained there.
At any time, correct?
Yes, I understand there's litigation in this area.
No, that's not my question. I'm not asking you about litigation. Yeah. I'm asking you what the law is, because let me put it to you this way.
There's an appropriations rider that talks about
correct, and appropriations are law, because you are asking us to appropriate dollars right now for DHS, correct?
Correct.
And if we do that, you would take that as law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that is what the law states, yet somehow, myself and another colleague, Congressman Castro, we ended up giving a 7-day notice to the Dilley detention facility because I had actually already gone to El Paso before. And when I went to that facility and I asked them why it was that they were requiring me to do something that specifically my branch of government had dictated was not required, they said it was because of you. They said you were the one that said that they were not allowed to allow us entry unless we gave a 7 days heads up. Is that true?
Yeah. The law specifically states oversight and visitations, and we are working to facilitate those. And we're at that time.
Did you give the instruction that members must give a 7 days heads up or not?
We had a policy in place that allowed us to get.
Were you the one that ordered that policy?
I have a responsibility for ensuring everybody in that facility is going to be safe, and that I have
but that's not my question, because the problem, let me tell you why we need to reclaim my time. The reason that I'm talking to you about this policy and you're talking to me about safety is because I did go into the Dilley detention facility. And let me tell you, they're not safe. This is why we need to conduct oversight, because your people continue. In fact, you have lost more lives in detention than anybody else. That is your record right now. So I don't expect that y'all are going to be the ones that are going to be best to keep them safe. This is why we are supposed to conduct oversight and not wait for you to give permission. In fact, after I left the Dilley facility, we were informed of a measles outbreak that was taking place in that facility. And another question I have, are you the one that ordered it to be reopened, because that facility was closed under Joe Biden?
Those facilities were opened with the new administration. I'd have to look and
you're part of the new administration. Were you the one that ordered it to be open is my question.
I would have to see when it was opened, because I wasn't sworn in until 5 days after.
Okay, well, it was reopened in March.
I would have to look at when
it was reopened in March of last year.
Well, then I'm sure that contract would have been renewed while I was secretary.
Speaking of contracts, as I have actually, you know what, let me continue on this line of y'all breaking the law. Are you familiar with a child by the name of Liam Ramos?
I am.
All right, so Liam was at this Dilley facility, and it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam. Are you aware of the court order that came down that released Liam from custody?
I am.
And are you aware that the judge said The case has its genesis in an ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children. This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them deported, but do so by proper legal procedures. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm
points
sure you would,
in
but can
there.
you tell me whether or not you have a law degree?
Father chose to.
Can you tell me whether or not you have a law
with
degree?
him. If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have a law
Okay,
degree.
and you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately, that is the order of the court. That is what you follow, and if you have an issue, you appeal it up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The court went on to say, apparent also is the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over his nascent nation. Among others were, he has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. He has excited domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He has kept us among, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Are you aware that he wrote that? Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?
The judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will yield, but I do have two UCs. The first UC is ICE training was slashed, records show corroborating whistleblower claims from the Washington Post on yesterday.
Without objection.
The second one is FEMA's response to Texas flood slowed by Noem's cost controls. This is out of CNN from July 10th of 2025.
Without objection.
Thank you so much.
Crockett opened with a direct legal question that immediately put Noem on defense. She referenced federal law allowing members of Congress to enter detention facilities for oversight purposes, and questioned why lawmakers were allegedly being required to give 7 days' notice before visiting ICE detention centers. That became the core of the confrontation. According to Crockett, when she previously visited a detention facility in El Paso, officials allegedly told her the restrictive access policy came directly from DHS leadership. Noem attempted to frame the issue around safety and operational concerns, but Crockett repeatedly redirected the conversation back to legality and oversight authority. And that's where the exchange became especially intense. Crockett argued Congress cannot properly oversee detention facilities if lawmakers must first seek permission from the very agencies they are investigating. Then she pivoted into conditions inside the facilities themselves. She accused DHS of overseeing dangerous detention environments and directly stated that more lives had allegedly been lost in detention under Noem's leadership than previous administrations. That statement instantly raised the temperature in the room. Because immigration debates in Washington are no longer just about border security. They've become fights over transparency, executive power, humanitarian conditions, and constitutional authority. Crockett then brought up the Dilley detention facility and referenced a reported measles outbreak after her visit. That added another layer to the argument: public health and child welfare inside detention centers. But the hearing escalated even further once she introduced the case of Liam Ramos. Crockett described a court ruling that sharply criticized government deportation practices and accused officials of implementing deportation quotas in ways that traumatized children. Then came one of the sharpest exchanges of the hearing. Crockett asked Noem directly whether she had a law degree. After Noem answered no, Crockett emphasized that regardless of political disagreements, court rulings must still be followed unless overturned on appeal. That moment was designed to reinforce her broader argument that executive agencies cannot simply disregard judicial authority because they disagree with the ruling. But the most dramatic section came near the end. Crockett quoted language from a federal judge referencing grievances listed in the Declaration of Independence against the British Crown, including complaints about standing armies and government harassment. Then she delivered the line that will likely dominate social media clips from this hearing. "Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?" That instantly transformed the exchange from a